Linda, I just wanted to talk just generally about Glenbard West, just for a minute. And just for a minute about the kids. Last night, as you know, we had our senior honors recognition, and we had a horrible problem at that night. We had our senior honors recognition followed by our scholarships, and our problem was that we had too many damn kids at the senior honor recognition ceremony. Honestly, we had nearly half of our graduating class who were being recognized just alone for academic achievement, for Seal of Biliteracy, receiving different awards. And to me, one of the things that's remarkable about something like this is that we can talk about the commitment that people make, the lifelong commitment that people make throughout their careers. And it's really the kind of results that we see at Glenbard West are profound and very deep and meaningful. And last night's a great example of that. And this is, to me, a great example of what it's all about, the camaraderie and organizing this and the kind of commitment that we see from everyone, from our teachers and all of our support staff. The dedication to Glenbard West is huge. So, I just wanted to say that. We're going to talk about Linda Ober. and I don't know, Joe's was pretty good, so we are a little intimidated up here. But let me start off. Let me just see if we get the right. So Linda's been with Glenbard West for 22 years. And something that you need to know about Linda is that she's had lots of different roles, and she's done many different things at Glenbard West. And people who know Linda understand that this is kind of how she rolls. She is making some sort of transition or change periodically throughout her throughout everything she does. So the things that I wanted to just point out, just with this slide alone, these are some of the things that she's done at Glenbard West, some of the different roles that Linda's played. Right? So the next part of this, I was thinking this would actually make an excellent drinking game. That idea just came to me. But I'm not sure if we'd make it to some of the other recognitions. So maybe we save that for later on. But we wanted to play a little game and see how much we really did know about Linda. So I want to share some different ideas with you, some things that we've learned about Linda throughout the years. Those of us who know Linda know that there's never a shortage of material. There's stuff there to be mined. So let's start off with one of the oldies but goodies. Tommy Treadway, a name that you might not be familiar with. So here are some possibilities with Tommy. Tommy may be a Jimmy Buffett impersonator who has recently fallen on hard times. A motivational speaker who uses music and alcohol to empower young professionals. Or possibly, he's a famous cruise ship performer who once wrote a song called, not surprisingly, Doing the Best I Can for Linda Ober. Let me just play just a little bit of that for you, if I can, if it gets there. This is the best line of it that I'm going to try to capture. Hold on. It says, trust is something that you've got to learn, and I'm doing the best I can. That was written for Linda. I'm sure there's a backstory. Hold on now. All right, we're not going to use that for the soundtrack. I gotta have that off. But that's really good. Steve, can you help me out there?
Let me get my second panic.
Web help. Okay, so that's the first one, Tommy Treadway. Don't forget Tommy. We're going to come back to that. Yes, Tommy was a famous cruise ship performer, and he did write that song for Linda Ober. Next.
Some people may know this story about Linda. So Linda was once involved in a horse mishap, is what we call it. So was this when She once fell off a horse after being overserved too much limoncello. She helped tame a wild horse that had escaped from a nearby forest preserve. Or her friend crashed a car into a horse whose rear legs broke into the windshield, quickly followed by the horse defecating all over Linda. Okay, and if you picked
Well, the final answer is
if you picked number 3, you would be correct.
All right, next one. Linda served as our assistant principal for athletics before I did. And this is in an effort to establish her knowledge of sports as an APA. Linda once did one of the following. 1, intensely studied the soccer, basketball, football, badminton, tennis, and coaching for dummies book series. Hold on, there's more. Referred to a track triangle, that's when you have 3 teams come to a meet and they all run against each other as a threesome. I did learn a lot from Linda. That was not one of them. 3, was hoisted in the air by cheerleaders on her 50th birthday to do the banana cheer. That might be it right there. So, if you chose 1, 2, and 3, you'd be correct.
Yes. This picture is going to be either Linda using local farm animals to help her alleviate her chronic back pain. It captures a time when Linda participated in shock farm therapy to overcome her traumatic horse incident. Or was a time when Linda took her mom and sister to goat yoga, which is a hip new fad that she had to try. 1, 2, or 3? 3. Goat yoga, definitely.
Okay. As a way to work out and also address her periodic OCD, Linda has in the past line danced for 360 days in a row at the Cadillac Ranch. Sounds like a super cool place.
It is.
Number 2, taking up the daily method, sometimes taking up to 3 classes a day. Or 3, tried out cross-country skiing and paddleboarding with varying levels of success. What do you guys think? All the above, and we also have a nice little picture of a kid of her attempting her cross-country skiing.
Many of you may know that at West, one of our traditions is to have the senior most. You might not have known that Linda had the same thing at her high school, so we're going to figure out which one of these Linda was voted for in high school. We got some pictures to help. Might help, might make it more difficult. So in high school, she was voted most likely to be a famous musician, get a dress code violation, or get an athletic code violation. Maybe not surprising, she swept it and she got all 3.
All right, so this year has been a very emotional year for Linda, with it being her final year, so we have some extra Kleenex for you. So during these times, what brought Linda to tears during this year? Was it 1, a bat meeting? 2, a choir concert? 3, departmental awards? 4, thinking about placing the fern at graduation on the stage. Yes, I know, it keeps getting more ridiculous. The fall musical, a matter of pride ceremony, or a discipline discussion about a possible recommendation for expulsion. All of the above.
We found this picture. It was given to us by someone special. So you get the idea. Honestly, it's kind of amazing. Our only challenge was figuring out a way to organize all that information. All that information which is actually true. I wanted to just end by talking just a little bit about some of the things that Linda's done in her storied career at Glenbard West and her life, really, which has been very rich. And she's experimented with lots of different things and activities and done those things before coming to Glenbard West, during her time at Glenbard West, and honestly, we anticipate after she leaves Glenbard West. All three of those things. No doubt, there are going to be interesting times to come. But when talking to her friends and when speaking with colleagues and thinking about Linda, we tried to sort of think about three general themes, abstract nouns that come to mind. And the three, well, I'll start with one, which is the notion of reinvention. Linda has continually showed a willingness to take risks and to try new things, to reinvent herself when it came to taking on different roles. Prior to being a social worker, of course, Linda had worked as a wedding photographer and also on the assembly line in a meat factory, as well as an addiction counselor. I know there's a really good joke in there somewhere. I just couldn't get to it. With 2 young children, she came to Glenbard West to work as a social worker after being a social worker at Woodstock High School. She worked with the famous Donna Gottsman and Dan Kurtz, and around 2002, she became a dean at Glenbard West, bringing her social work experience, her background in substance abuse, and her general care for kids with her into the job. 6 years later, she was made assistant principal for athletics, and then 4 years after that, assistant principal for operations. Think of it for a minute about that trajectory. Being a wedding photographer, and then really just a short few years later, ending up assistant principal for operations for a huge school, high-performing school, lots of demands in a big suburban district. It's pretty incredible. Linda's always thought about new ways to do things. She recognizes the importance of change. As she took on new roles, she worked hard so that she could understand the seriousness of each and every position. Most importantly though, Linda was always willing to reinvent herself along the way. And I guarantee you that back in her photography days, she wouldn't have imagined where she'd end up. The second idea has to do with legacy. And I thought this was really important to bring up because really when you stop and think about it, some major changes have happened in Glenbard West that Linda has played a significant role in making sure that they happened. Linda will walk away from the school with a major legacy behind her. As assistant principal for athletics and as an APO, Linda worked hard to help the school and the district make significant improvements. One of the biggest game changers was the turf and the lights on Memorial. With a building like ours, where so many students participate, we were seriously challenged when it came to facilities. And right now, it's hard to imagine what our school was like without having Memorial and without having the lights. And getting there, also hard to imagine the kind of battles that Linda had to take on with some community members, some people in the village who really were very much against having those facilities there. I think they've probably changed their minds since then. The other big change that we are all aware of is the $16 million, 28,000 square foot addition that's on the east side of our building. That facility is amazing, and that was a 2.5+ year project where Linda had to partner with an architectural firm and a building company and work tirelessly to make sure that that project stayed on time and on budget, and it did. And then finally, of course, the brand new heating and air system that was at Glenbard West, something else that we've sort of gotten used to now, but has absolutely and positively changed the environment at Glenbard West. And if you stop and think about it, could be responsible for so many kids achieving at such a high level. So very much connected to the future of Glenbard West and to the legacy of our school. And then finally, the other category that I thought was really important to end with was the notion of loyalty and perseverance. Linda has defined her worth at Glenbard West, and I might add, influenced others by always being sure to convey her values through her work. She believes in people and believes in supporting positive culture. She represents some of the things that we all hope to be: sincere, honest, appropriate. People who work closely with Linda understand that she is all about empowerment. Women's empowerment, mentorship, having a strong moral compass. She shares this with her friends who are here tonight, the famous Joy and Sue. We call them the secret keepers. Also, she's demonstrated it in how she supports her family, and all of us remember how Linda stepped up and took charge when her brother Donnie became ill. And finally, her 3 children, Paul, Janelle, and Vincent, who she has, I think, tirelessly supported, and of course Paul's here tonight taping us. And Linda's famous mom, someone who I would gather Linda's gained so much from. So, you're awesome. And all of us will miss her, and I'm so glad to learn that she'll be coming around Glenbard West next year and helping us out, and that she'll continue to enrich all of those around her and to enrich us. Linda, over.
I swear to God, I'm gonna keep this as fast as I can. First of all, Deb and Deb. Deb's times 2. I love you guys so much. And you guys should have come up here and said something, but Deb times 2. We're gonna really be hurting when they're gone. Mike Moran, are you still here, Elvis? Is Elvis still in the house?
He's left the building.
Oh my God. No, when we were at the awards convo last night, kids specifically mentioned several teachers. Steve Weirson, 2 students mentioned you, and Mike Moran was another teacher that students mentioned, not as their favorite teacher, but the most influential people in their lives. There's so many of you here in the room. Nate, where are you, Nate?
Right here.
Thank you for the mug. Nate, when he retired, he gave me a Las Vegas mug, and he said, I know you're next in the pipeline, and I've been cherishing that mug every day. Thank you so much for that, and this is not going to be as funny as you were hoping it was going to be. So I just want to say that Glenbard West is such a great place, and I'm so honored to have spent my career here working with the best of the best. Deb and Kelly and Gail, it's been so great working with them. I'm also thankful to Beth and to Ann for trying at least to make me look good over the last couple of years. I know it's a hard job to do, but you guys have the strong shoulders to do it. Sue Bridge, who I think has left, she hired me 22 years ago. Hi, Sue. Sue hired me 22 years ago as a social worker. Donna Gottsman was my mentor. Pam Zimmerman took a chance. I'm putting a social worker in the dean's office, and Peter has been my mentor ever since. I'm thankful to Jane for taking a huge risk and hiring me as assistant principal for athletics, and to all of the coaches who were probably petrified when they saw me coming. My dad had to give me a book showing me what a football and a baseball and a basketball look like. And he actually said that on NBC News in front of, on 4th of July, just so you all know. Then Jane entrusted me with the assistant principal for operations position. Never ever in my wildest imagination could I have guessed that I would have had such a diverse experience and had the ability to make such a profound change with the help of everyone in this room. Working in a high school has all of the moving parts of running a small town. We are educators, of course, but we are also a medical facility, a mental health facility. We keep law and order. We are a restaurant. We are a physical fitness organization, parks and recreation, traffic controllers, threat assessment professionals, coaches, bookkeepers, maintenance, interior decorators, archivists, performers, safety inspectors, box office managers, equipment managers, stage managers, coaches, sponsors, charity organizers. It's really hard to believe what we do on a day-to-day basis to make our kids feel safe, cared about, and engaged. What we do as a team at Glenbard West is amazing, and I would challenge you to find anyone who does it better. We raised enough money to build a turfed athletic field and then put up lights, passed a referendum, built an addition that is the envy of many, and reconstructed many spaces in the building to best meet the needs of some of our ever-changing demands. This team was ahead of the curve in moving from textbooks to one-to-one devices, whether you like it or not. We packed every single item in every single room in a 6-story building in a few days in order to have the entire building rewired and relit. And then you put your rooms back together and began teaching business as usual, even though you weren't able to get into your classrooms until a day or two before school started. Remember that? Yeah. Poor Oscar and Luis broke their backs that summer, but this is what makes Glenbard West the best. Well, I'm super excited to be retiring. I'm going to miss all of you and all of this. My oldest 2 children, Janelle and Paul, watched me go through 8 years of college the hard way. We went from poverty to a content middle-class life. That struggle instilled in them the desire for a college education and responsibility, and I am super proud of who they have become because of it. My youngest son, Vince, spent a good part of his life, sorry, I need to Kleenex. My youngest son, Vince, spent a good part of his life under the bleachers looking for treasures in Beaster Gym during the time that I was a director, and that is no kidding. And Joe, you have me to thank for Debbie Zartman. Just so you know, Debbie, you made it look to Joe like I didn't do a damn thing the whole time I was there. Sue and Joy, girl power. We've got power rings. In case you all know, when we click the 3 together, sparks fly. I cannot wait to spend the next 30 years traveling the world with my best friends. Maybe we can really get the band together now. We've been together nonstop since we were 14, and I could never do life without you two. Will, you better retire soon, otherwise you're going to become a retirement widow. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives footloose and fancy-free. Joe said we can still hang out in the press box during football season. Peter, Chris, Joe, Rebecca, Stacy, Mike, Alex, you guys rock. You're an amazing team. I'm really going to miss you. Stacy, I couldn't be more proud than to be leaving the building in your hands and all the people who work with us in your hands. Fred, we just discovered, Will thought Fred's, can I swear in front of everybody? Is it okay? If you're going to be offended, raise your hand, because I'm going to say the F word. Will thought that Fred's name is Where the Fuck is Fred? Because when they phone goes off at 1 o'clock in the morning because one of the boilers is out, thank you, everybody.